The 2015 Hyundai Sonata. The Hyundai Sonata has had a pretty long life. Being around since 1985, the car has gone through a total of 6 generational changes, with the most recent happening for the 2015 model year. Compared to the previous model, the new gen model isn't a huge departure from the outgoing model, but it has its own little quirks that set it apart. On the outside, the car showcases Hyundai's Fluidic Sculpture 2.0 design language. Highlights include a new grille design, redesigned headlight lenses, LED fog lights, a raised beltline, and new taillight units. Inside, Hyundai brought about a new dashboard that is more ergonomic and driver-focused, with better materials and excellent fit. The front seats are heated and cooled while the rear bench is only heated. Depending on the market, the new Sonata is available with a range of gasoline-powered engines and one diesel engine. Transmission options include a 6-speed automatic and a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. All told, the new Sonata is now longer, wider, and more rigid than the previous model, and that's a good thing considering the stiff competition from models like the Toyota Camry, Chevy Malibu, and Ford Fusion. The Sonata had just been facelifted back in 2012 and was performing well here in the US, but over in South Korea, the Sonata wasn't doing so hot, prompting Hyundai to develop the Fluidic Sculpture 2.0. As it usually goes with Hyundai, the new Sonata debuted first in Korea, and finally hit US shores in time for the New York Auto Show. So is it worth looking at the new Sonata over competing models from Toyota, Chevy, and Ford? Take a look at our full review below to find out for yourself. Click past the jump for more info on the 2015 Hyundai Sonata. Spy shots. From a straight-on shot, it is pretty hard to see exactly what Hyundai is cooking up, but once you get into a front three-quarter shot, the changes become evident. Instead of having the sleek and laid-back front fascia of the current model, Hyundai will opt for a more upright grille with the headlights positioned slightly rearward of the grille. Also, the grille louvers are 3D, as opposed to flat on the current model. The hood also looks like it is slightly revised and features a more predominant center section. As you can see from the profile view, the Sonata will remain the same from the A-pillars to the rear. Its protruding shoulder line remains identical to the current model, as does its sleek glasshouse. We're not complaining though, as these are two items that we are glad to see carried into the next generation. Around the back side we can see that the arc in the trunk lid appears to be slightly less dramatic and that the taillights are obviously redesigned. The heavy camo is a dead giveaway. We also noticed that the plastic insert under the bumper is slightly smaller than the current generation and the tailpipes are trapezoidal instead of oval. Finally, the bumper lines appear to be straighter than the current model. Our spy photographers also note that the headlights and taillights feature LED technology, which would be a new addition to the Sonata lineup. By putting all of the changes together, it is easy to see that the new Sonata will take a lot of its styling cues from the 2013 HCD14 concept. Sure, it's not nearly as extreme as the HCD14, but things like the flattened nose, 3D grille, trapezoid tailpipes and LED lighting are all directly from the HCD14. Exterior. The 2015 Sonata showcases Hyundai's next iteration of its design language titled Fluidic Sculpture 2.0. It's more angular than before, but doesn't neglect the proper curves and creases needed on the Sonata. It seems at least two elements have returned mostly unscathed for 2015. The belt line just below the side windows returns, though shifted upward and away from the door handles which it previously bisected, and the side window and roofline design. The small third window just aft of the rear passenger's windows along with the cresting B-pillar are integral to that familiarity. Up front, the grille makes an almost diamond shape with large, xenon headlights on either side, complete with LED daytime running lights. A large chrome trip piece sits atop the massive fog lamps and connects with the lower air intake. Out back, the redesign almost evokes thoughts of the Sonata's corporate twin, the Kia Optima. It's not a dead ringer, but the relation shines through. Besides that, the rear looks good. It is no less stylized than before, but somehow doesn't seem any better either. 2015 Hyundai Sonata. Exterior dimensions. Interior. Inside the new 2015 Sonata is a whole new realm. The most noticeable difference is the dashboard. The center stack is all new with a unique infotainment HVAC vent setup that, at first impression, doesn't seem like a step forward over the previous generation. Hyundai says the interior is much more ergonomic and driver-focused, with improved materials and fit and finish in all the major occupant touchpoints. Critical buttons and functions are said to be easier to operate, while the steering wheel is easier and more pleasurable to hold. Front passengers get vented, cooled, and heated seats, while the rear three passengers make do with only a heated bench. The panoramic sunroof returns as well. Depending on trim level, the center stack utilized either a 3.8-inch LCD display or the large 8-inch full-color, touchscreen display. Both support USB, Bluetooth, and aux input connectivity. Voice recognition and smartphone integration is also available. The Sonata gets a suite of new safety features as well, including the radar-based Advanced Smart Cruise Control (ASCC), blind spot detection (BSD), and lane departure warning system (LDWS). Also optional is the high beam assist, with automatically switches between low and high beams. 2015 Hyundai Sonata interior dimensions. Drivetrain. Details regarding the US spec drivetrain options are still under wraps, though Hyundai has released information about the Korean spec mills. Those engines include two 2.0 liters and a 2.4 liter. The 2.4 liter is likely the same GDI engine we're used to seeing and even carries a similar horsepower rating. Once the Sonata is unveiled at New York, we'll know much more. 2015 Hyundai Sonata drivetrain specifications. Prices. Competition. 2015 Chevrolet Malibu. Though there is no confirmation of the Malibu carrying over for 2015, we can only assume it will carry over untouched, given GM just redesigned it last year. Is the Malibu more exciting now than it has been in recent years? Absolutely, but it is in no way a stunner. It still carries itself as a rental lot beater until you move into the 259 horsepower Malibu Turbo model. Then again, so does the Ford Taurus until you move into the show variant. The Malibu is, however, close to the Sonata's price point and has plenty of options to spruce it up a bit. The Malibu starts off at $22,340 in 2014, and we don't expect a huge jump in 2015. 2015 Mazda 6. The Mazda 6 is another new for 2014 midsize sedan that should carry over into the 2015 model year untouched. The new Mazda 6 is the anti-midsize sedan, as its Kodo styling sets it apart from everyone, and its premium interior is just one notch down from a luxury sedan. Where the Mazda 6 falls flat is in its powertrain options. Sure, it is economical, but with a peak output of just 184 horsepower, so far, compared to the 270-plus horsepower we expect to see from the turbocharged Sonata in 2015, it fails to impress. Mazda may decide to add a more performance-oriented drivetrain in the future, but the only future engine we know of is the equally uninspiring 2.2-liter SKYACT-IVD diesel engine, Yan. Conclusion. The new Sonata is a very important car for Hyundai, especially in America. It can't afford a flop, though this Sonata seems far from that. The new design language demonstrated here will assuredly work its way throughout the lineup over the next few years as the Elantra gets its next makeover. Love it Hyundai refreshing the Sonata before it overly ages. Updated and more ergonomic cabin. Prices won't likely change. Leave it center stack isn't the prettiest. No solid word on powertrains. No pricing information.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.